another episode of the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So I saw this by Mental Health, 988 Oklahoma. Okay. And they did a post about mental health and the workplace. Okay. Now, in addition to making content, I also work 2 jobs. Okay. I work 2 jobs, so I do work a lot. So, yeah. Um, so, what does mental health at work really mean? Okay. It's how your job affects your emotional well being, your stress levels, your sense of purpose, and your ability to feel safe, supported, and human at work. Okay. So 44% of employees experienced burnout in 2024. Long hours, unrealistic expectations, and poor boundaries take a toll, and too often, the workplace still treats burnout like a personal failure, not a systemic issue. Okay. Some common challenges, some common mental health challenges in the workplace, burnout and chronic stress, stigma around taking mental health days, toxic or unsupportive work environments, pressure to always be on. Some signs that your job might be affecting your mental health. You dread work days, constant fatigue, even with sleep, no time or energy for life outside of work. That's me. That's me. Yeah, that's me. Um, yeah, whenever I have the time, I do to take it. But yeah, feeling undervalued or replaceable, emotional outbursts, anxiety, or numbness. Um, you deserve a healthy work life. Um, your mental health matters as much as your output, okay? Some things that you can try. Taking mental health days without guilt, setting clear work/life boundaries, talking to HR or manager about support, using paid time off before burnout hits. Work should work for you too. Okay. Yeah, so but yeah, the one that I struggle with really is no time or energy for life outside of work. Okay. I as a person who works 2 jobs, okay, I do have time, okay. It's just that constant it feels like that I'm constantly fatigued, okay, even with good sleep, okay. Just feels like I'm constantly fatigued, so I'm always in the need for rest, okay. And that's why um I go a couple of days in between making content, okay, because I got to get my rest too, okay, because I'm in the constant state of fatigue, and I may not have the energy. I was gonna make some content the day before, okay, but my body was like, "Oh hell, no, you're not. You're gonna lay your body down and you are going to sleep." Okay, yeah, yeah, constant fatigue, even with his sleep. Okay, so yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm burned out. Okay, I would just say that I just pray that one day soon I will be able to stop working 2 jobs. Okay, okay, just trusting God and praying and just praying that 2 jobs will me working 2 jobs will stop soon because I want to bring you home a lot more content. Okay, I want to bring y'all a lot more content, but like I said, working two jobs, but I just pray that stops soon. Okay. So let me see. Okay. Speaking of burnout, the biggest difference between normal burnout and depression burnout. Okay. Normal burnout is typical. I gotta say, hey, that's slow. Okay, here we go. Normal burnout is typically caused by excess of responsibilities, tasks, or obligations that may be especially demanding during a condensed period of time, like an exam period, or in general having too much on your plate. Depression burnout is the result of carrying and fighting its symptoms for too long without relief. That is, getting run down by fighting intrusive thoughts, extended periods of sleep disturbances, or getting tired from being numb for so long and not being able to engage with the world. This burnout can also be intensified by still upholding your responsibilities and day to day tasks while battling these symptoms. This is why people with depression may say, I'm tired, even if they don't appear to have done much, because you don't see the internal battle that they are going through. Okay. And depression robs you of everything. Depression robs you of everything. It robs you of your energy. It robs you of um, your work habits. It robs you of your hygiene habits. It robs you of your social life habits. It robs you. Depression just robs you. Um, so say like there's a joke that you laughed at hysterically many times before, but you're so burned out from fighting depression that when that joke is told, you're like, yeah, okay. And so um I remember, okay, I remember when I would go to Dallas Cowboy watch parties. Okay, I would go to Dallas Cowboy watch parties and watch the games with all of my fellow Dallas Cowboy friends, fans, and haters too, who wanted to see us lose. Right? Um, we were all together at watch parties and watched Cowboys play. Okay, and I've told this story before. Um, People noticed that when I was into the game, I was into the game. I was jumping and cheering and yelling, as any other fan would. Okay, but there were also be times where they will observe, where they would say, "When I'm into the game, I'm into the game." But there will also be times where I was just like this. A touchdown would be he scored, everybody would be cheering. I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." Then another touchdown scored. Yeah, yeah. That's some of that's what depression does to you. Okay, it robs you. It really robs you of everything. And yeah, burnout can happen. Burnout how can happen. Um, I had a friend who and this isn't the oppression burnout, but more like anxiety or burnout. Okay, if you will. Um, I had a friend years ago. Um, she just had a massive anxiety attack. She had a massive anxiety attack, and it took her about 2 weeks. It took her about a week to 2 weeks to regain her old self. Okay. That's how massive that anxiety attack was. Okay. And anxiety robbed her for like 2 weeks. I remember I had an anxiety attack. Okay. At work. Okay. I had an anxiety attack at work back in 2014, 14, 15, somewhere around there. Yeah. And I felt the anxiety attack because I felt something move through my body that I hadn't felt before. And I wasn't the same for about 2 weeks. Okay. Two weeks, probably even longer. Okay. So yeah, um, depression, burnout, anxiety, burnout. Yeah. It happens. It happens. And fortunately, there's a certain stigma around that prevents us from getting help, and we have to change that. We have to change that. So something else I want to hit on. So I made a couple of videos, okay, a few weeks ago, talking about some posts from 988 Oklahoma. Okay, made a few talking about some things that 988 Oklahoma talked about, and talking about the safety measures that were put um, up at Niagara Falls after um, they had a few deaths by suicide. That Niagara Falls ended up putting up some safety barriers, okay, to prevent that, okay. Just like the Golden Gate Bridge, they have a safety net. The Golden Gate Bridge has a safety net to for people who jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. They have a safety net for that now. Go read the story of Kevin Hines, okay? And so I made those videos, okay? And apparently, while some people were watching those videos, apparently those videos caught the attention of a few people who were worried about my mental well-being and thought I was in a bad place mentally, that I was in a bad place mentally, that I would end my life, that I was thinking about ending my life by suicide. Because I got an email. Um, I believe it was from YouTube, saying that a couple of people watched my video and they were really, really concerned about my mental well-being, that I was thinking about suicide. Okay. Well, I was not thinking about suicide. Okay. I was not thinking about suicide. Um, I make no secret about it. I attempted suicide. Okay. But while I was making those videos, I was not thinking about suicide. Okay. I wasn't thinking about suicide. I was just discussing the safety measures at Niagara Falls, the post that I saw in 988 Oklahoma. Just wanted to talk about that. Okay. And so I was not in a dark place while I was making those videos. Okay. But apparently some people were concerned that I was in a dark place mentally. But I just wasn't want to respond to that and say I was not in a dark place. Okay. I more than appreciate your concerns. Okay. I more than appreciate to the people who stepped up and thought I was in a bad place mentally. I really do appreciate it. Okay. I appreciate your concern. Um, I was not in a dark place though. I was in a good place while I was making those videos. Okay. Now, just to be transparent and to be honest, I still do have some thoughts. Okay, I still do have some thoughts, but I do have, but I'm in, but I respond to those thoughts much more differently than I would have when I was younger. Okay, so yeah, so I appreciate the concern. I was not in a bad place mentally, and yeah, so that's it, and that's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am out of here. You matter. You are loved. You are more than enough. You are not a burden. Don't let anybody else ever tell you any differently. All right. Peace.